All right, let's jump into it, guys. Welcome to the Masterclass Part 5. Real quickly, just to shout out, I've been watching this XELA stock. The float on it is only 25 million, and the volume on the day is at currently 230 million. So they've rotated that float about 10 times, 10 times. So I think that if it keeps consolidating and hanging out in this area, 425, 350, at the end of the day, it could get a run up to $5, over 5 to 550, even $6. There's not really much going on in the market right now. We had a bunch of fails with EYES, OPGN, ANPC, CCIV, COS, INVO has been turning out. But just keep an eye on this stock. You know, when volume pumps into a stock, like EYES was a recent example. I mean, just look at that. Friday, it traded, what was it? Over almost $1 billion in volume. $1 billion in volume on Friday. Think about that. That's insane. Stock moved from $2 all the way up to 10. It did have a weak close, but when you have just massive volume like that, people want that type of stuff. So, look what happened. Gaps up Monday, shoots up to 15, consolidates, looks like it started to fail, but then shorts got confident and they got squeezed. The next day, gaps up to $20. So, volume is king in the stock market, guys. I get asked that question all the time. What indicators do I use? What moving averages I use? I keep it as simple as possible. I just draw trend lines on a chart. I pay attention to psychological price levels. So for EYES, when I say paying attention to psychological price levels, I'm paying attention to whole dollar levels, $17, $18, $19, and then $20. That's a huge psychological number. Huge. And look what this did. It hung around and played around at that $20. And then once it fell below that $20, it was game over. And this stock is now fading. And now it got a good psychological bounce at $15. It's going to probably fade down to $10. Keep it simple. Pay attention to volume. And place your trades and try to trade around psychological levels. Because this big money that's out here, they're not buying and selling at random ass prices. You think someone with 100,000 shares is going to sell at $20.05? No, he's going to sell at $20. Or he's going to sell at $21 if the stock is holding up above 20. So you got to kind of think outside of the box a little bit and get in the mind of human psychology, mass psychology. What's the crowd thinking? What are they doing? So keep an eye on, what was that one? XELA. It sure is looking prime. It very well could get a run up to $5. Massive volume pumping into this thing. It's already, we just talked about it. It was at 225 million. Now it's at 235 million. So as the day progresses as well, always keep glancing over at that volume. Glance over at it every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, and take note of where the volume is at. If you see that volume just keeps massively increasing as the stock continues to move, I mean, keep it simple. Supply and demand. Supply and demand. That's what moves the stock market. You're noticing massive volumes pumping into this stock. There's that demand factor there for this stock. So, and then just sit and watch the tape. What are you seeing on the tape? Watch, they're going to rip this bad boy up to 450s. I just want to keep an eye on this stock as we begin class right here, because this is a really good example. I want to show you guys how this stock likes to move, how the market makers will pop it and then slam it down. They like to try to freak people out. They take out all of the weak hands. So it's just like what we've seen yesterday with EYES. Real quickly, we can zoom in on this. Right here on this day, we were watching it all day yesterday, and we were saying, this stock is moving very sketchy. Very sketchy. They would run it up, make it look like it was about to surge, and then they would slam it down, and then they would make it look like it was about to crash and fall down further, but they would hold it up, and it would just go back and forth all day. It almost like it was trapping bulls and they were trapping shorts. And it did fail right here at the end of the day. That's when shorts get overconfident and they say, yeah, this is the backside of the move. What do I mean when I say backside of the move? Well, when you have a stock that runs straight up and it's continuously making new highs and highs and highs and highs like this, the backside of the move is this downfall right here. That's the backside of the move. So when you have stocks that are going parabolic and supernova, shorts are very stubborn. They want to brag and they want to top pick. They want to try to pick the top. And they'll just beat themselves up and trying to pick the stock's top. And it just continues to squeeze up higher and higher and higher. And they have to cover their position. So you always want to try to think how a short's thinking. This class today, guys, it's going to be more hands-on and interactive. What I plan on doing with this class today, we're going to take a look at all of the websites that I like to use and still use to this day. Websites that I liked when I was just starting out and learning. Websites that are helpful as tools. And we're also going to take a look at social media platforms. How can we use social media to our advantage with these stocks? This market cycle, the past month, guys, has been quick morning spike, failed continuation, morning to afternoon sell-off, and then level out. And then at the end of the day, we've been seeing things turn around and rip up. That's what we've been seeing in this market. All right, let's get into this. I just keep glancing over and watching how this XELA stock keeps moving and running. They really like to slam that bad boy down and then grind it and rip it back up. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. If you get scared easily on pullbacks, this stock would just eat you alive. When you have stocks, XELA, I keep forgetting the name because it's a weird one. Like, look at that. They just rip it back up, slam it down, grind it back up, slam it down. With stocks moving like this, there's two types of way you can play it. You could play the range, back and forth, from support and resistance. Or if you think the stock's generally going higher at some point in the day, you have to pick a stop loss area, let's say below 350. If it falls below that, that's where your stop's going to be. And you'd put your price target at new high of day at $5 or even at the break of 5 at $5.25, $5.50. Tell yourself, if you got in at $4, if I put my stop down at $4.40, I'm risking 60 cents to make $1 or $1.50. That's the big picture idea. Trying to sit here and you're just scalping it, or you're getting scared and you're putting a 10-cent stop loss. The way I like to look at it, if you're going to be like that, you're being a cheap ass, is what you're doing. You're not giving the stock room to move. You're scared to put on risk. Sometimes you have to put on a little bit of risk to make that reward. Give the stock room to move. Give it room to breathe. If you're being a little cheap ass, as I like to say, and you're putting your stop loss, let's say you got in at 4 and you're putting it at 395, 390, and you're looking to make 50 cent, $1, your price target's at $4.50, $5. I mean, just think about that. That's insane. You're trying to risk and be a cheap wad to risk 10 cent, but you're going to be greedy and try to make 50 cents, $1. That just makes no sense at all. All right, one of my websites, guys, and I know you guys all know about this website, but if you're new in the stock market, FinViz is a top tier website for all of your information. There's so many tools on FinViz that you could use. It's unreal, and it's all free. They do have an option to charge you for the elite version for $20 a month, but it's really not worth it. All you get with it is real-time data for when you do your screeners, and you get the ad blocker. If you use FinViz, you know that a lot of times they have a lot of unnecessary ads that like to pop up. Looks like GameStop's getting a good push on it. Nice grind up and pop. But what you can use with FinViz that I like, especially if you're out and about and on the go, if you just pull up the website, they tell you right here all of the top stocks for the day, top gainers, stocks that are making new highs, overbought, unusual volume, upgrades, earnings, and insider buying. And then on the bearish side, they're telling you stocks that are the top losers, new lows, most volatile, most active, downgrades, earnings after, And if you scroll down here, they have other cool little areas here. Tickers with chart patterns. You see how I hover over the chart and it's drawing out all of these patterns? This could be a very useful website for day traders and also for swing traders. You see how it's drawing those lines on these charts here with the blue and the purple line? FinViz is like the number one tool to use as a trader. The number one tool. They also have insider trading. Insiders that are either buying or selling positions. They have, and then here at the bottom, they have your futures. Every morning before the market opens, you should always check to see where the futures are. Are the futures either gapping up or are they gapping down? The futures give you an idea of how the market's going to open. So always pay attention to that. Here you got your heat map, and then you have 3 indexes up here for a quick glance on how this market's performing and going. They have a really cool stock screener. You could really get in depth with this screener and get into fine detail about what's going on. If you click on all, here are all the options that you have to create your own little screener. So what I would do, I'd go through, create a screener. Let's just say it's the top percentage gainers on the day. Let me find it. And then you could also sort it right here. You see the float? You could put it under 1 million. I'll do under, let's just say 20 million float. And just go through here. Change from the open. We want it to be up. Let's see. Change. Pattern. Relative volume. Average volume. And even short float right here. So if you want to search for potential short squeezes, put that short float short over 25%, and every day check that screener for potential candidates that could have a short squeeze up and coming. The price, let's just say you want it to be from $5 to $20. I just put under $50. The beta is how much the stock is correlated with the S&P 500. If it's over 1, that's how much more correlated it is with the S&P 500. Under 1, it's not correlated with the S&P 500. So you see, as I keep adding on these filters, it's pulling up these stocks right here. And you could just hover over it and get just an idea of what that daily chart looks like. And then you can also sort it by the percentage change from the biggest percentage losers to the biggest percentage gainers. And what I like to do with FinViz from time to time, let's just say that ticker EARS is just blowing up and going supernova parabolic. It's the number one stock on the day. So what I'll do is I'll type in ears up here on the search bar, and I'll pull up the chart, and I'll go right down here and see what sector and what subsector that stock is in. It's in the healthcare sector. So I'll click on the healthcare, and it's going to pull up all the stocks that are within that healthcare sector. And then I can filter it to the top percentage gainers. And now you see how ears, let's just say EYES is the number one stock on the day. That would be number one. And then I would go down the list, hover over the charts real quickly, and get an idea, okay, what's following the number one stock in sympathy? Okay? And then once I see a chart that looks just like EYES, I'll throw it up on the charts, keep an eye on it for sympathy plays. Let's say EYES is very, very volatile and it's moving dollars at a time. I could tell myself, I can't trade that. It's just too volatile, too much risk. Let's see if there's a other sympathy stock that's moving with EYES that's not moving as volatile as EYES. That could be another idea you could use, and you could still trade pretty much the number one stock on the day. It's just you're conserving your risk, lowering your risk, and moving to another stock that couldn't hurt you on the downside if you catch it on the wrong side. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So there's multiple cool ways you could use FinViz. That's why I'm going to say it's the number one tool for day traders. The number one. There are just so many ways you can use FinViz. And even when you click on stocks to look up the information, look at all the statistics that it gives you. What's the shares outstanding? The float, how much of the float percentage is short, what's the insider ownership, institutional ownership, what's the average true range, the ATR, what's the volume, the average volume, the relative volume. So all of these statistics you could use to your advantage to start formulating an idea and a trading plan. The only bad thing, like I said, you get annoying ads that pop up from time to time. They also have a news section. It'll pull up all of the news, and you could view it by time or view it by source. There are many different sources that they pull the news from. Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, Market Watch, Fox Business, CNBC, Reuters, BBC, the New York Times, CNN. You just see all of these news sources that they pull from. And then go to groups here. And what I like to do, go to charts. So you click on groups, and then you go to charts. And then every weekend, I like to go through this. And what this is, it's breaking down all of the sectors for me so I can get an idea and see how all of these sectors performed the previous week. So if I see a sector is just breaking out and just going on highs, it's a sector breakout. I'll click on that sector. Let's just say technology for an example. And then it'll pull up all of the stocks, and I have it on charts that are within that sector. And you could just go through and quickly glance at all of these charts and get an idea. Wow, that looks like a good chart. I'm going to add that to my watch list and keep an eye on it next week. This is the type of work that you got to put in as a trader. And like I said, they draw all of the patterns and the lines on the charts for you. That's a bonus right there. So you could see why I love using FinViz all the time. There are just so many pluses to this website. Another website, and I know you're all familiar with it, is Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance isn't as popular as it used to be, but it's still a good resource to find out statistics for a stock. So you always want to try to compare the stock's float with these different websites. So for an example, if we type in EYES on Yahoo Finance, we can go to the statistics, scroll down, and it tells us the float here is 13.2 million. You go back to FinViz, EYES, float 13.2 million. So they're both the same. You will run into times where you'll just see the float is different. Like for CAN on FinViz, it says the float's 109 million. We pull it up on Yahoo Finance. Here it tells us the float's 80 million. So you see two different locations for that stock, two different floats. Never trust one resource for the statistics because you don't know how often they update the information on these websites. Okay, guys? That's why I like to use FinViz, Yahoo Finance, and I also like to use Trade Ideas. Let's see what it says here on Trade Ideas. Trade Ideas, it says the float's 80 million. And then I also use Street Smart Edge. And you see here on Street Smart Edge, it says the float is 132 million. So now we have two of each sources are telling us the exact same float. We have Street Smart Edge and FinViz telling us the float is, 109, and Street Smart Edge says 132. Yahoo Finance says 80 million. And then Trade Ideas says 80 million. So I'll average it out. I'll just say the float is around 100 million. All right, moving on. A website that I like to use when I was first starting out, guys, is called theliant.com. And what theliant.com pretty much is, it's a message board. What I would do when I'm out and about and away, I type in theliant.com, and what it would tell me is just the percentage gainers on the day right here. And I could filter it by the top percentage gainers, the top percentage losers, the top money gainers, and the top money losers. I would check this every single day to get an idea of where all these stocks are and what's going on what's going on for the day. Excuse me. And then you've guys heard me talk about this website before, This is called Dojo.com. It's been a moment since I've viewed this website, but this is a great tool here to do deep research on a specific company. So let's say we wanted to look more into EYES. Do you guys want me to share the link in the Discord with you guys on all of these different websites that I pop up? PRD said he just uses an ad blocker on his browser. It works beautifully with FinViz. Yeah, that's an idea that you could use. I don't use ad blockers. I just let it be. So in the members only chat, I'll share all of these links to all of these websites. All right, so back to Dojo. Or Daco. I can never get the name right, but you type in the ticker, you get all of these tabs up here to look into the information on this specific stock. You could see what exchange it's on, the website of the company, the CEO, how many employees they have, the location, their fiscal year, what sector, and you could just scroll down and really get into this stuff. The investment data, you can hover over it. Their financial summary. But I'm going to get this out of the way. With Dojo here, it's still free for the most part. Let me see. Yeah, it's still free. So all of the data on this is gonna be delayed a few months, probably. But it's for free. Use it to your advantage on what it offers. Every website is gonna have different cons and pros from each other. So you see here, it gives you all of the transcripts from their earnings calls in the past. And as you just scroll down, this is a new piece right here they just added. They just added Reddit threads. So people on Reddit who are actively talking about this specific stock, here are all of the threads. Scroll back up, click on financials, brings up all of their financials. You can look at their income statement, their balance sheet, cash flow, data. Now, this is a cool part right here. With the data, you could go through this list right here and select all of the criteria and filters for it, and it'll plot it out on a chart. So if you wanted to see right offering, unwritten warrants, warrant offering, just mess around with it. And you see how it's plotting it out here on this chart. And you could go back and physically see how many times and how much these guys have done offerings in the past. See here on January 19th or February 27th of 2019, they put out 47.8 million shares into the market. Click on Insider. It gives you a little graph here of it compared with the S&P 500, how it's performed. Buy and sell statistical graphs of the company. And then here's a list of all of the insider trading activity on this stock. Here's the institutional tab. Date for period, March 2021, last complete reporting period. Institutional shares. So institutions have $69 million worth of this company. The float, shares outstanding, total positions. Here's all the SEC filings for these institutions. Look at that big surge right there in buying for institutional shares on the long side. And then the number of holders has been decreasing right here. And here's a list of all of the institutions that invested in this company at one point in time. It's a big list right here. Four Capital, 4 Point Capital Partners. I mean, look at all of these institutions out here. Morgan Stanley. Vanguard. Wolverine Trading. It's a big list. And it tells you how much profit or how much they lost or broke even per quarter with these institutions. So you see how much you can dig into the information with this website. This would be more for swing trades and longer term investing. I would use this website for, most definitely. I'm not going to get really too much into detail about this. This is just a free trial. It's free for the most part, but it's just another stock screener that you could use. See how it has the big map here? You could click on an interactive chart. You can create a screener. I mean, the possibilities with creating a screener with this thing, you could really get in depth with it. Really in depth. Earnings Whisperer. This is the top website I would use to look at earnings calendars, upcoming earnings. You could just scroll down and see all of this upcoming earnings on a specific stock. They have a calendar you can click on, and you see how it has it right here. Today's Tuesday. Before market opened, there was 30 companies reporting earnings. After the market closes, there's 37. And you can go further into the calendar for all of these earnings. Let's click on Wednesday. And you could scroll down. And it tells you here their estimates, the growth, surprise, and you could even create an account on this, and you could say that they beat, meet, or miss on all of these if you really wanted to get it really into it. See, and it tells you the current market sentiment, 38,000, almost 39,000 stocks are making new highs. 4,000 stocks are making new lows. Come on, load up. Looks like just some examples here from this trader, but all I pretty much use Earnings Whisperer for is the earnings calendar, guys. I don't get too in depth with these websites. All of these websites that I show you offer different tools, so I just use these websites for the tool that they're most popular for and carry on. Investimonials. This is a website that's owned by Timothy Sykes. What I really like about this website, even though it is a bit outdated, there's still a lot of great content on this website. Pretty much think of this website as a tops list for all of your needs. Let me copy that link and share it with you guys. So if you wanted to see what brokers are the top brokers to use, click on brokers. It tells you right here, top stock brokers, your top Forex brokers, best for penny stocks, best for futures trading, and then they also have people that have written reviews about these brokers. Broker category, brokers that specialize in ETFs, Forex, futures, long-term investing, mutual funds, options, penny stocks, short-term trading, stocks, world markets. Top websites. Short-term trading websites. First Adapter, Warden, that's TC2000. Stock Fetcher. Now, remember guys, some of this website is a bit outdated. There may be websites that aren't up and running anymore.